Join me. Together we can rule the galaxy far and south.
I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
This is getting out of hand. Now there are two of them.
Hello there, space wizards and plastic spacemen and rebel princesses. This is Todd Hoffman, and you listen to Big T and Little T, a Star Wars podcast. Welcome to episode 206. Today, we are not alone. We have two wonderful guests with us. Another father and son combo, maybe even more powerful in the Force. We don't know, but it's Kirk and Alex Sullivan. How are you guys doing?
Great. How are you guys tonight?
Great. So they are fellow 501sters, part of the Midwest Garrison, and we're so great to have you on the show today, and we're going to get into it in just a little bit. Joining me today is my little buddy, Trent. What's up, dude?
Dude.
How you doing?
Good.
Awesome. Since we last talked, we saw Brave New World. Have you guys seen that yet?
No, we haven't.
It's pretty good. We enjoyed it.
It was pretty good.
Yeah, Harrison Ford's amazing.
Yeah, that's like...
He's awesome.
I think of Red Hulk, he is him.
Yeah, right, yeah. He's super, super cool. Have you guys seen Fall Guy? The new remake with Ryan Gosling? Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
I remember the original TV show with Lee Majors. So,
right.
Yeah.
The remake is actually really a lot of fun. It's like a movie inside of a movie inside of a movie. It's fun. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen it, I think it's on... Did we watch on Prime?
I think we did.
Yeah. It's a great show. It's really good. Yeah. There's a good Kiss song in there.
Yeah, Kiss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rewatching Lord of the Rings. Are you guys Lord of the Rings fans?
Yeah, occasionally.
He's seen them all. I love them. The extended editions in particular, I think are fantastic.
Yeah.
So it's some of the best. You know, they called it unfilmable, and Jackson proved him wrong. It's fantastic.
It's unbelievable what he pulled off. But yeah, we're rewatching the extended editions.
Yeah,
and it's great.
Yeah, it's like 2-part disc.
It's too much. It's too much content. It's like, how can you film all this content? But it's fine.
It's one of those things that after you've watched them all, you kind of want to go back and like, how did they do all this stuff? And some of the behind the scenes stuff is just
it's just incredible. It's even more credible. Like with the Shire, I know they when they did the location site, they actually like planted crops and stuff, and waited a whole year. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Well, and like the castle, I just forgot the name of it, up on the hill, the horsemen.
Oh, yes.
They had to, whatever they built, they had to get rid of, and it had to go back to its original, how they found it.
Right.
So there's some stuff that when you get into the behind the scenes stuff, and then my favorite I love Christopher Lee in every one of his incarnations, and the stories that came out about him on set are incredible.
I mean,
and greatly disturbing too.
Christopher Lee was like hitting it, he was Count Dooku and then Saruman. He's like, yeah, let's do this, like two evil space wizards,
Did you know the story? Did you hear the story about when he's getting stabbed in the back in the movie? Oh, so Peter, there's the scene with Wormtongue eventually stabs him in the back. So Peter Jackson is talking to Christopher Lee about the scene, what's going to happen, and the noise he wants him to make, and like and Christopher Lee says to him, you can find this on because it's what he says. Do you know the sound a person makes when they get stabbed in the back? And Peter Jackson says no. He says, well, I do. And that's not the sound they make, because when the air, when they get stabbed in the back, it forces the air out of the lung, and you go, ah. And so Peter Jackson deferred to Christopher Lee's extensive knowledge on, because what people might not know is that he was OSS, and British Secret Service during World War II, and cousin to Ian Fleming, and maybe one of the inspirations for James Bond. So it's greatly disturbing to think that it is.
Yeah, I knew that from what's it called?
YouTube.
No, from what's the Tom Hanks movie with the it's like with the dog?
Turner Hooch.
Yeah, he's remember when the grandpa like dies? He's like, like when he like Tom, he's like saying when they get stabbed here, the air comes up and they don't make any sounds.
Yeah, that's true. And Turner Hooch and Lord of the Rings. That's how we learned about people getting stabbed.
Also,
all right,
there you go. There you go.
And Gimli, his thumb. I think it was his thumb or one of his. It was actually his middle finger. As a kid, I think he got chopped off a little, so they did a fake where they did like a prosthetic, and I think he bit
it, and like it was a fake,
or he like ripped it off, and it's like, yeah, you have to go to hospital, and no, he just rips it off, and it was bleeding everywhere.
Nice. And well, hey, when you're filming for 3 years, crazy things happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think it was when his like thumb was like as a kid. I think that's what happened. But
yeah,
remember when they're trying to find out if who's the two other hobbits? Not Sam and
Merry and Pippin.
Merry and Pippin.
Yeah.
When they're
you're talking about
when he kicks the helmet, his toe actually gets broken.
Oh! Yeah, Aragorn. Breaks his foot when he does that. Yeah.
I like to call him Aragon. And I'm like, no, it's Aragorn, but
yes,
Aragon Ballroom.
Yes. Right.
So Fortnite season. We've been having fun with the Fortnite season.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Alex, you play a little Fortnite. I heard that you're carrying the squad here with your dad. So.
Yeah, watch out. If you ever see him pop up, watch out. Just run for the hills.
Watch out. Yeah. So we've really enjoyed the season. It's been fun. Godzilla was cool.
Yeah, that was the only.
No, he was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one game I'm really excited for is coming out is Delta Force.
Delta Force.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tactical.
Yeah. And then we were just on a different podcast called Mazda Musings with Chris. Chris, thanks for having us on. And we talked a little bit about Skeleton Crew. And that was the last time we saw each other. You were at the Skeleton Crew fan event. What did you guys think of the season? What did you like?
Star Wars since Andor.
Yeah.
Wow.
We enjoyed it. We really enjoyed it. We had a lot of fun with it. I was hesitant. I kind of went into it with zero expectations. No offense to kids, but typically when I see like the main cast is a bunch of kids, I'm like, yeah. But they were, just because.
You're like, I got my own. Well, I don't need.
I grew up watching classic movies and stuff, and like some just reading off a piece of paper, it's brutal. And those kids were fantastic.
They were great.
And
Jude Law was awesome.
Oh, love him. And his character was wonderful. And I think they had the most relatable line in all of Star Wars history for all of us who are adults when he's yelling at the kids to be quiet. It takes a moment. It's like, I've got a splitting headache. And I just like, I hear you, brother. So
I got you, dude.
Yeah.
When he and also when he eats first before the kids. He's just going to town and the kids are like, I need to eat too, Yeah, but it was.
The show was a lot of fun. I'm really curious what they're going to do, if there's going to be, what the story would be if there's a season 2. I don't know, but I'd watch it. So
yeah, I thought it was really well done. I mean, the special effects, even when we went to the fan event, again, and the Star Wars is great seeing on the big screen. I'm just like, we're watching now. I was like, this is actually, the effects are like really good.
Yeah, I remember some guy got yelled at. It's like, hey, you can't. It's like phone. Like the guy was like very like you can't have your phones out or like.
Oh well, yeah. They just wanted to make sure because like they don't want people, streaming.
That guy at the beginning was serious.
He was serious.
Well, and I wondered about that because it clearly wasn't us because we were in the back. And so they must have had repeat press people there. Press in some way, shape, or form that he knows who they are, because he was clearly delivering a message to the not us.
And he was just trying to put the fear of the force.
I thought that was. I'm like, all right, I hear you.
I saw some guy like I don't know if he had like a tripod, but I looked in it. I was like, what is that? It's like more of like. It was like something like some guy brought it just for like.
No, I think it was like something with closed captioning because he couldn't hear or something like that. Maybe.
Yeah, there was a person who had a closed caption device.
It was closed captioning, so it's like like how we have it. Sometimes you could turn on Netflix or whatever. It just tells the word, so just in case he was hard of hearing, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I mean, hey, maybe he's got his own like new Star Wars thing. Tell like some kind of like what are those things called in Phantom Menace? Those little camera pod guys, So hover cam pods. I don't know what they're called. Some kind of droid or whatever. But anyways, yeah, I thought it was really good. Thought the effects are amazing throughout the whole season. I thought that was really good.
Yeah.
And the story kept me interested with Atten and
Yeah, it kind of kept us guessing as to what was going to happen.
Yeah, I thought that was great. I thought that was great.
Yeah, the only downside
was the kids.
No, it was not the kids. It's like how they used them. Like that's the only okay. I understand they haven't I don't like how they some parts okay they just kind of make them seem okay they're helpless. Not, I understand they're trying
they weren't. They're not military trained.
I'm not saying that at all. I'm just
they kind of turned it around.
So, at the end, yes. But.
I mean, it was interesting because at times they were we're just what do you expect? We're just kids. And then, I mean,
right.
And then they pulled stuff out, in the end. So no,
yes, that is true.
That's true. That's awesome.
It was better than an Acolyte.
Oh, yes, it was.
Yeah. We watched Acolyte. We were fine with it. We were interested. We were at the end. You're like, oh, where are they going to go with this story? And they start revealing characters that are going to be in the next season. And then, of course, what happened. So I think it was it's tough. When you're trying to tell a story that was so long ago, in a galaxy, longer than what we're used to.
A long time ago.
Yeah, and so you've got no frame of reference for who these characters are. You don't have an established, any established history with them. So, the general viewer doesn't have an established history. The people who've read the books and have.
Well, I think that's where it kind of faltered a little bit. You have this whole book series, and you don't even reference it. Again, you don't need to be a super nerd, but at least if you have a reading audience that has that, you can be like, okay, this is a character or a couple characters or a reference point.
Well, then they could have just made KOTOR.
They could have done that too.
The other bit of it is that when you're getting halfway into it and things are gearing up, and then all of a sudden, our two favorite characters in the span of 2 minutes are dead, and we're sitting there going, wait, what just happened? And we try not to talk during the show, but I'm like, well, they just killed my favorite character, and now they just killed my other favorite character. So you're like,
who was it?
Well, Kilnaka, I was like, dude. You got a Jedi Wookiee and you don't even use them, and then they kind of flash back, and it's
the two younger Jedi, the guy who plays, I've forgotten the character's name, plays by the rules, and then Weapon X, and then and so the two ones that you were kind of so the next season could be about these guys, and then
they just got snapped. They got kebab.
We all know that lightsaber wounds aren't so bad anymore.
Well, it worked for a couple Inquisitors, and
they really are dead. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I really
lightsabers.
The lightsaber battle.
Sabine she was okay.
Qui-Gon's
up in the in the spirit realm.
Well, now when you look at this is the nerdy stuff. He got it right in the heart.
We go.
He got it in the heart. When you look at where he got it in the heart. Sabine got it, over here.
Yeah, but then Darth Maul got his intestines spilled out, and he was fine. It was fine.
Yeah. He used his rage, and
he was very angry. He was very angry.
He was angry.
You can survive a long time on pure anger. You really can.
Well, it worked for Palpatine and Darth Maul.
It's bad for your hair, right? But it worked.
So, anyways, all right, let's get into the main topic. All right. Don't say one more thing about the Acolyte.
No, I was thinking that lightsaber, the battle between Dark Toothy. That was actually, I like that.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
I like how they
good.
more used.
Yeah, the lightsaber battles were really good.
Yeah.
What's that? Trent, did you call him Darth Toothy?
That's what a lot of people refer to him.
I like it.
Darth Toothy.
Yeah, that was great.
I'm never gonna unhear that now.
right. Oh, that's Darth Toothy over there.
It's cringy, but it's awesome.
All right, so why don't we start with some simple questions here? So, Kirk, I'm going to have you go first. How did you get into Star Wars? How were you introduced to Star Wars?
Well, I was there in the first summer it was released. I was vacationing with our family in Indiana, and my uncle took me to the theater and said, "I'm going to take you to see a movie that's going to change your life."
So your uncle already saw it?
He saw it. Yeah,
Gotcha.
He's about 15 years older than me, and he had seen it. And he came back and said, "I'm going to take you to this movie. It's going to change your life." Now, I was raised on Star Trek. I'm named after Captain Kirk. And I said, "What's it called?" And he said, "Star Wars." And I said, and this is the, one of the famous lines of my youth. I said to him, "Oh, is it better than Star Trek?" And he said, "Yes." And I was like, "Yeah, whatever." And
whatever.
It was, and so
It is actually.
Yes, it was. It is.
So I was there from the start and saw all the originals, and been a fan since day one. So
now, did you have action figures? Were you? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I had them. And then I'm the oldest of four, so the youngest of four, Joe, saw Return of the Jedi. Was the first movie he saw in the theater.
Gotcha.
And he was hooked.
Yeah.
And so fortunately, he kept all the toys.
Nice.
And we have them in the basement because he doesn't have any storage. So we've got a bunch of the vintage stuff still downstairs. Yeah, and we pick things up over time. But yeah, had it all. I talked to him about the original play sets being cardboard. And there's a vintage toy shop that we like to go to. Yeah. On the north side, and they've got a lot of the original ones that you can see, and I'm like, that was the original AT-AT.
Yeah, I mean, it's not every day that you just get like a cardboard IOU and say, "Hey, there's
that original mail-in thing. Yeah, I wasn't part of that. I didn't get into that. Yeah, it took a while. I didn't get any of the toys until they were reported. So probably whenever that, the next
that was right off the gate. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. All right. So Alex, how about you, my man? How'd you get into it? From your dad? I'm assuming, but yeah.
From him mostly, but I think I started with the original trilogy, then moved into the prequels, then the original 2003 Clone Wars.
Okay, yes. Gandhi.
Really, yeah. And then
Grievous is so good in Tartakovsky's.
Dude, he's awesome.
Yeah, he's awesome.
I love how he uses he's like the one leg and just like pulls out multiple and just like Shaggy Jedi dies.
Shaggy Jedi dies. Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
And then I think it was the canon Clone Wars show.
That one's good.
And then I think what really, really got me was Rebels, because I love that show to death.
Yeah,
Rebels that was a family affair.
Okay.
We talk about what can you watch as a family? Father, son, or mother that you can all sit down and enjoy. The number of things are fairly limited.
Yes, right.
That's actually good.
Yeah, and we're actually we're watching all of Rebels right now because Mary Pat wanted to kind of catch up because we were talking about with Ahsoka and we were just talking about things. She's like, "I think I'm rusty. I think we need to sit down and watch them all." So we're rewatching them all right now, and I think that one of the exciting things about that program, and one of the things that he latched onto, and that I think we all loved, was that there, although as the series went on, they introduced characters that we knew. These were entirely new characters, entirely new stories, but still in a universe that we recognized.
Yeah.
And they were doing deep dives, and every episode was it just kept your interest, and you really got attached to the characters. And so for him, it was a cast of characters. It was new for me, but it was new for him as it was well, versus watching all the stuff that was established already. It was brand new for him at the exact right time, and we as a family love it.
Yeah, I mean, Chopper's the best. Chopper's like so good in that.
You're not gonna get
it. But another thing with Rebels is each episode is helpful to the story, which the Clone Wars isn't as much because there's a lot of filler episodes and filler arcs.
Yeah,
it's a lot tighter. Yeah, you're right. It's a lot tighter. It's not. It's not. What do they say? It's all thriller, no filler. So it's Clone Wars. The other thing, obviously, because it's Star Wars, the Clone Wars is jumping around from a timeline perspective. So you might get 3 episodes that are right in a row that are all in this continuity, but then, episode 5 is like from, it's not all in order, which makes it fun when you go back and you do watch in order. It makes it a lot cooler. But when you're watching through seasons, it's definitely a little bit all over the place.
What I just remembered what it was that made Mary Pat say I think we need to watch all Rebels, because we were watching Skeleton Crew. At the end of Skeleton Crew, the B-Wings show up and use their concentrated blast that we had only ever seen in Rebels. So when that happens, we're like, and she's like, what's the big deal? And invariably when she asks what's the big deal, we go, well, that's from Star Wars Rebels. And of course it's because it's Filoni and he's able to bring but it's just that show has got so many tentacles into all the other shows. It's really something.
I would say even Ahsoka, right? So Ahsoka,
Ahsoka is just Rebels.
You can watch 5. Ahsoka. You can watch Ahsoka from a surface level, and it's like, that's pretty good. But like the emotional weight of everything in those characters,
you don't know who
really
they
play
are.
out better if you've seen Star Wars.
Who's Ezra that they're talking about? I mean, you wouldn't know any of that is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Space Aladdin, it's good. Space Aladdin, it's good. All right, so you're into Star Wars. How do you get introduced to the 501st? Like, what does that look like for you guys?
Well, I've been going to, the Chicago Comic-Con, as it was called, since the early 1990s when it
You're talking about Wizard World?
Well, then it was Wizard World.
Yeah.
And now it's now it's Fan Expo. So I've been going to that show since it began. So I would see these guys in these great costumes, and I would stop and take pictures with them. And then when he really gets into it and into Star Wars, he really gets into it, and he went to it might have been C2E2, I can't recall which.
I remember. I was a comic book at the old comic book shop.
Darth Vader Day at Challengers Comics. It was a brand new Darth Vader comic? And so it was they were having Darth Vader Day, and I didn't tell them what we were doing. I just said, wear something Star Wars related. So we had a Star Wars Rebels shirt on.
Yeah.
Over a black shirt, a black long sleeve shirt. So we get there, and 501st rolls out of the back room, and he takes one look at Darth Vader and pulls off the Rebels shirt, which has got the Rebels on it, and pulls it off. So he's just in black. And the troopers, Boba Fett let him hold his blaster. The troopers were taking him around the store, and that he was hooked.
He was hooked. Yeah.
And then from that moment, he wanted costumes, and so we started with store-bought zip-ups, and hoodie first was Stormtrooper like hoodie, and then and like the Rebels cadet mask that Ezra painted, and we went to an event. The 501st had their booth set up, and they were doing blaster training, and it was a Nerf firing at the stormtroopers, and there was an officer, and he's still involved. And I'm gonna feel stupid because his name just went out of my head.
it just flew right there. Yeah.
There's an officer who saw him in stormtrooper gear, took him under his wing, and just treated him like he was a stormtrooper because he was wearing the right uniform.
Right.
And that was that. So that from that moment, it was, what can I get that's bigger and better? And it was, you got
from a timeline perspective, what year is this now?
That's over 10 years ago.
Okay.
Because 10 years ago, so you did like the Death Trooper, Executioner, Assist Trooper, all the zip up stuff, but the first one, then he's like, I want something of my own.
Right.
And that I made a Scout, and I said, pick what you want. He liked the Scout Trooper. And so I built a Scout Trooper out of foam.
Fun fact, this is the original helmet.
Yeah, that's the original helmet. It was
nice.
A store-bought plastic helmet that he could still,
Nice.
But I made it, I got patterns, and I made it out of that. And then that was the start. And then
so you did a foam Scout, basically.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, all handmade. And then And then he wanted to upgrade it, and so then I found a fiberglass one, which was better, but was very heavy.
Yeah.
And then it's like, all right, we're in this for the long haul, so let's get the real deal, so that we can keep upgrading it, so that when he turns 18, he can roll right in from Galactic Academy to 501st. And so that was it. And then everybody bothered me. Because I'm there with him, and I brought my camera and I would take pictures and I would do troop report. But everyone's like, "The hell? When are you gonna do it? When are you gonna do it?
What are you doing? What are you doing? You're just like recording. Like you're photographing and
so finally,
was that part of like for you for that Kirk? Was it like just like wanting to capture a lot of those moments with Alex, or what?
Yes, yeah, for sure. And also because this group is unlike anything else, and so I'm there and I'm trying to help maintain, some order with lines or whatever. I might as well bring my camera and capture some of this stuff and make sure these guys are safe and staying hydrated. And what I didn't know was how welcoming this group was going to be. And from day one, he had done troops, a bunch of them, but his first real one in his fiberglass armor, where we did a comic show where he was going to work all day. That's why I went to the show, so that he could work at the booth.
Right. Yeah.
And pose for pictures. I mean, he was going to do some shopping and stuff, but he was going there to work.
Yeah.
I remember him showing up and just the way he was embraced. I just stood there and I couldn't believe it. He was treated as an equal from moment. This is a bunch of adults, and here comes a kid. We've all seen the way adults can treat kids, and they didn't. They fully. Just made sure, like, Kirk, you can go do whatever you want. We got him. But they
go spend your money. Go spend your money.
I just stood there and I watched. These people who were complete strangers just completely welcome this kid in as if he was one of their own. And over the years, the generosity and support he's gotten, it's just been nuts with the other scouts, tutoring him on what his outfit needs to be, which is really tutoring me on what I need to do better.
Sure, right. Yeah, right. But, Dad, you didn't do this right here.
But it could be like, whatever, kid, but that's not the way it is. And it's just, I couldn't believe it. And that really then, was, when's the next troop? When's the next troop? Was, all he would be asking, are we doing something this next weekend? And these people, the members, it's just, I've never seen anything like it. And then, so I was like, well, yeah, it's only a matter of time then before it's just the mentality is something you just want to be a part of. Yeah, that's.
So what was your first costume there, Kirk?
Oh, the only one I've got is the tanker.
Nice.
So
that's okay. Hey, man, some of us can only do one, but I know there's quite a few that have like 5 or 6, or whatever.
No, when I saw, I've always loved World War II and tanks and and so when I saw that thing come around the corner in Rogue One, I just went, well, I know what I'm going to be whenever I get
and check.
Come on. And so then it was just a matter of time for it just to fall into the right. Now, there's we all have pie in the sky dreams of what else we'd like to do. I'd love to do a crosshair. But that's
bad back. Okay.
That too. Yeah, but
Alex, what about you? What's your dream costume?
You want the realistic one or the unrealistic one?
Both. Realistically,
the Rebel Scout.
Okay.
With just Ezra's lightsaber, so I can say I can have 2 costumes. I can be the Rebel Scout and Ezra in the Scout.
Ezra as the Scout. Yeah. All right, unrealistic costume.
A reimagine of the Ewok Hunter, which I am working on.
Yeah, he's wants to. So we took his old fiberglass costume and we did kind of a tiger, black and green camouflage pattern on it, and then of course I painted this helmet. So all that is green base with the black stripes to kind of give it a camo, but it just doesn't fit quite right.
Yeah.
So because it's fiberglass and it's kind of clunky.
Yeah.
It's not like the original molded stuff. So he's been designing and is scheming, and we've got the 3D printer. We just got to get. He's got a bunch of files. He's got some files set up that he wants to print to do things with it to make it. What's the character?
It's a bounty hunter that it's an ex-Imperial sharpshooter that was on Endor when during the events of Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Just not at the bunker.
Right. I was kind of, because I always think of too, like, and if you play Battlefront, know, where they're trying to get away from the Ewoks or whatever, right? They're always of that massive, garrison that's down there had to be troopers left behind.
There were.
And they had to survive. And that's where I kind of, too, like, just get a dirty scout or a dirty stormy, I think that would be cool. It'd be cool.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Or you kind of combine stuff where you find stuff from, just kind of do like almost like a Rambo kind of thing.
Yeah, that's what he's planning.
It's gonna stab in heart. There's gonna be a cut in the helmet.
Yeah.
Is where there's a joint here is where the jaw is just open. Like it looks like a jaw.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna attach bones and stuff. The chest plate's gonna have ribs. It's gonna be.
I like it.
Awesome.
I'm already. I'm on board. I love it.
Like
I
a
think
zombie scout, like kind of,
but like a predator scout.
Yeah, so he's intimidating. He's still a bounty hunter, and then he kills as many Ewoks.
Right. I mean, there had to be people. There had to be troops left behind. I mean, it had to be. And so just like them surviving, and again, like. They kind of explored a little bit with Mando, where you have not the most pristine stormtroopers; they're just like out there, and I kind of think the same thing. Like you're really in survival mode, and stuff like that.
I think there's a comic out right now that's kind of telling that story too. I think there's an Ewok comic that takes place.
The Ewoks,
on Endor that's kind of telling the story.
After that one's like years.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Wow.
What
about you? I know you want to be a biker, scout. That's kind of realistic. Do you have an unrealistic one? If you had like all the 3D printers and all the
unrealistically, probably like a Boba Fett or like a Wookiee. That would be fun.
Wookiee would
so
be.
Let me tell you.
Let
me tell you
a Wampa. Yeah.
That would be fun. Not in summertime. That would be
cool. Right. Perfect now.
Right. Well, let me tell you what is. Most likely he's going to work on this, but what is a realistic next thing for him is Empire Strikes Back Boba Fett. And when I talk about this group and how incredible they are, I was gifted everything but the rocket pack and the blaster.
Nice.
When I say everything, suit, armor, gauntlets, I mean, I'm sorry, the boots. There was no boots because you have to buy boots. I mean, but when you start adding, I mean, this is 501st grade
stuff.
Academy. This is the stuff.
Yeah.
And I went online and just like, I'm just kind of curious. Holy cats, like wow. But that's this group. They love this kid. They want to make sure he stays in it. They want to, keep the ranks full, but they can't get rid of you. They try.
They don't want him in the underground levels of Coruscant. They want to keep him,
they're making sure he's got the rights. And I just, I just sit there and I shake my head because I just, the generosity of the 501st, just in terms of time and attention and.
That's giving the LIL T 19X.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's thinking about one of those snipers. I got one of those. I give it to you. What? And it's like a $250, 3D printed blaster. Yeah, here you go, kid. And you're like, wait, what's happening?
Like what's going on? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I want an SC-14. So
yeah. just throwing that out there.
If you got one of those laying around, here you go.
Oh, those are cool. Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
I was like talking about how you're like very welcome into that. I always think of that like 3 people in mind. 3.
Yeah.
Like they were always nice and just welcoming.
Yeah.
Joe, Mike, and Ted.
Yeah. Those are good guys. Yeah.
Like from day one, I was like, oh, I just wanted to help out, and they just.
Yeah.
I helped out, and they just adored me since.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So tell me how it was with as a father and son trooping. How did that feel, and what was that like?
He embarrasses me every moment.
I really try. Yeah, I pull rank on him as much as I possibly can.
Yeah.
Because I'm a self-appointed captain, Captain Kirk. So yeah, he can make. He's got pauldrons. He can be a commander. But it's a lot. It's a lot of fun. He's been doing this a lot longer than I have. So he does his. By the way, this last month he hit troops number 50 and 51.
Nice.
And 51. I mean, that's. I mean. He loves it. And
that's great.
Yeah, man. More than that.
What is that?
Like the number of troops he did. He already hit 50 troops.
Cool.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So he does his thing. And, he's been doing this for a long time. He knows he has his poses. He's in character, and so then I just try to do my thing, and but it's great to play off of, because. I mean, we try to be in character as much as we can, and
of course.
He lives it. I mean, you know what I mean. He embodies that character, the attitude, the relaxed attitude that a scout would have, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
He's of the age. I don't have to. He can go off whatever if there's if it's a big troop, a hockey game or whatever.
Yeah.
And by me, he can go off, and when there's multiple scouts, the scouts may go off and do their thing.
Yes.
And I get assigned to be next to Darth Vader or just normal stormtroopers, and it's a great thing is that he knows what to do, and he's with adults who know him, and there's no worry there. But it's great. He's got this independence that the other bit of it is, he's taller than me now. He's over 6 feet, and so for years people treat him as an adult, which is wonderful. But when he puts that helmet on, he puts that armor on, people think he's an adult because he's so big. He's so tall.
You also think I have a voice modifier.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
I just
talk. Yeah. But
nice.
So that's the other bit of it is that when he gets into that armor, he's a completely different persona. He's not a 12, 13, 14, 15-year-old kid. And that's when people find out, they're like, wait, you're 15 years old, and he'll flip up his visor and be like,
right, exactly. That's awesome.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun. It's fun. It's very gratifying to see him.
The one suit I would love to do I would love to make like some kind of scout, like just like a zombie. I've seen like do a traditional one and then like a zombie scout. Yeah, I was thinking of like if you ever play Resident Evil, what's the virus it's called?
T-virus.
The T-virus, how it's just all like different like strings and like what like when you
strings
whatever
strands
of like
different
bits and stuff I was thinking of like doing like that. I would be like that. I would just like it like when I think of that I'm like, oh, that would be cool if I did like that with that with the biker scout. Yeah
cool, awesome. Yeah, that'd be great, dude.
Well, the great thing about the biker scout costume is Alex. And what else? The most important thing about the biker scout costume, you can
bend.
Oh yeah, sit down.
You can kneel. You can kneel.
Yeah. You watch the poor TKs. And
it's a rough life, man. I'm working. I'm going to be a Pathfinder here too pretty soon. Working on a patrol trooper.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, so
nice.
That's the next thing because I'm like, I want to bend down. I want to pick up my keys, or when I drop my glove, I can just bend down and pick it up myself. So
I've got big leg armor with knees, and so you can go down so far. I don't have any armor between my knees and my waist, which is nice because of course I'm in a tank and that's protected. Right. But so I've got a lot of flexibility, but it's not as much as the scout. Is the patrol trooper, does it have anything on the thigh?
It's like the same as yours.
Is it the same basic armor? It's got
a big chest, the same basic armor.
It's got a big chest, right? Yeah.
A big chest, but like mostly not really a lot of leg armor. So
yeah.
I'm like, hey man, I just want to bend down. It
goes a long way. It really does.
It's not the armor, it's him. If I was in his armor, I could do anything. But
oh wow.
he's already said it.
Shots fired. Shots fired. Already, shots have been fired.
Not the years, it's the mileage. Yeah.
So, the Sullivans, are there others in your family that are Star Wars fans? What is it? How is this 501st expanded?
The Rebel.
Mary Pat has got rebel tendencies periodically, which that's okay. We let her. But she'll never be in costume. She does trooper support. She's got an official trooper support pin. That she helps out. She enjoys it. She watches all the programs.
Yeah.
She is not done like all the Clone Wars or
right. Yeah.
So she's
but she's more than just surface level, which is great.
Right.
Yeah.
But she has a general desire, like when we're freaking out over something, when
you see a B-wing, I mean, you know.
When in Mando, the original Mando, when Moff Gideon cuts his way out of the TIE fighter with the Darksaber, we were out of our minds, and she's like, "What's the big deal?" And I'm like, "Don't you remember?"
How could you not remember Clone Wars season 5 or
exactly.
whatever?
And so she'll just look at us like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. I literally stood up and was like, "Shut the front door! I can't believe it!" You know?
The other one we freaked out about was Luke.
I mean, the Luke comeback in Mando season.
Are you kidding? I mean, that was everybody was doing the same thing.
Yeah, we were standing and we were like, "It's gotta be Luke! It's gotta be Luke! Is it Luke? Is it Luke?" And then,
I just, when they're like a single X-wing, like what good is that? And you just kind of go, "Huh? Who? What? Huh? All right, and huh?" And yeah, that was
connect the pieces.
Yeah,
It's like
that was a special. But in the moment, you're like, "No, come on." And,
that's what I was like. It can't be Luke. It's got to be like Cal Kestis or some random Jedi or something.
Cal Kestis is awesome, man.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Well, and then you're wondering who was it that saved Grogu, and it turned out to be the guy.
Ahmad's best character. Yeah,
and who ran the short-lived. Streaming only on YouTube, kids Jedi Training Academy.
The Jedi Training, yeah.
So when we saw it, we're like, no way.
They just didn't do that, and they did.
That was for him, because he watched those shows.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things that we were like, oh, when they're building, Batu, or where they're building the Galactic Star Cruiser, like, oh, these types of things they could have for kids.
Yes.
And you could do them around the park. And I thought that was going to be a preview of some of the things that you were going to find when you would eventually go on the Galactic Star Cruiser or Batu.
Right. Well, the Galactic Cruiser is now going to be office building, but whatever.
You can't.
It was just too expensive or whatever.
But you asked about who else in the family. So, I mean, just Mary Pat puts up with a lot because you can see in the background.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of interest. This is our kitchen, and she allows Rocketeer to be everywhere. So
right.
She's a good egg. So
very good. That's awesome. How do you incorporate any parenting, Kirk, with Star Wars? Do you use a lot of "I'm your father"?
If you look at the father figures in Star Wars, there's not a lot of good role models.
There's not a lot of good ones.
No. Kanan's not the best either, because oftentimes he's just like, he's like, yeah, whatever, kid. And so what's interesting, and I was thinking about this, is how the female characters are the best parents that you see in the show. So I don't know that there's any particular parenting that you can that I particularly take away from Star Wars, but I just what it has. I don't know about you, but I see parents who have kids who are teenagers and they've got no idea what their kids are doing, and they've got no interest. They may shuttle their kids back and forth to sports, but they have no interest. They don't know what's going on with their kids' lives, and we get to spend time, as father and son doing this stuff. And I didn't do anything like this with my dad. My dad wasn't around. My dad was a career high-ranking military officer, so he was never around. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't have anything like this. So I just value the fact that we have something that we can share, that we can talk about on an intellectual level. I mean, as nerdy as that sounds, we can talk about this stuff seriously. And that's also the power of the 501st. You got
he's interacting with lawyers, police officers. It doesn't matter. They're Star Wars fans, and they're talking about that. And I sit back and I look, and like, he's interacting with adults that where else would he be able to do?
Yeah, it's a great melting pot of
So I just value from a father-son standpoint the time that it allows us to spend together. Because who knows,
that's where we're gonna with Trent. We want to, because like he's got the Jawa and it's a little hot.
No, it's like, I don't mind like heat. It's just like
visibility. Visibility. Well, with Star Wars, both of those heat and visibility are.
I don't mind the heat. It's like like Scout, you can like see in Stormtrooper.
Well, and you get the flip.
Scouts. You don't even need to flip it up. You can. For me, I can see everything except the smallest amount here. That's it.
Right. Yeah. Well, there you go.
Like it doesn't. You don't get like it doesn't really fog if you do it right, but. It's like you can see anything, so you have probably the best visibility besides officers.
Yeah, true. Officers have pretty good field vision, Yeah. I mean, like one of my first troops at C2E2, I'm like, this little kid came in to hug me, and
I drop kicked.
I almost took a total bail, And again, they don't know, but it's like, dude, I cannot see. There's a cutoff,
Yeah, my visibility. Yeah, I've got great peripheral, but from here down, I can't see a thing. And all of a sudden, you're like, oh, there's somebody there. Okay.
Yeah, you got like a little tree hugger, a little Ewok come and try to grab your leg. It's like I can't see you, dude.
Yeah.
And again, they don't know. They don't know. So that's why us stormtroopers, we just stand around and don't move. So.
Yeah. Or you walk very slowly.
Very slowly.
Not like you take like a good pace. You don't like.
Well, Trent, if you do the Scout, you're going to be very popular. I mean, those that's a group that people love because that was the first real unique look, right? The snowtroopers,
Well, snowtroopers have a little negative connotation,
Why?
Because they got like the hood and KKK,
But you look at the AT-AT drivers like, oh, that's unique, that's unique. But you didn't get to see what they were full, right?
Right.
And the TIE fighter pilots, you only see this for a bit. You don't get to see the full.
You see your chest.
Yeah.
And then when these things hit the screen. And in Return of the Jedi, people, I mean, we were nuts over these.
We like our biker scouts. It's a cool
look of it. Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
Rid of like the facial construct that the original TKs had. It like completely redesigned the helmet, which was different from every other helmet because of leaders.
Yeah. It's kind of bizarre, really is. Like, first of all, it's bizarre with the TK. I'm like, who came up with this? This is the weirdest design.
They did it off of what's it called? German, like
they did
a lot with the guns.
But a lot with the guns. Yeah, but you're right. Like the biker scout is kind of left field. It's just like, oh my gosh, what are they doing? But again, a trooper, being realistically on the set can't do what they wanted them to do, on a biker,
Yeah, and the other one was Boba Fett. When people saw Boba Fett, they went out of their minds.
Boba Fett is like different. If unrealistic one, it would be Boba Fett because I'm like,
animal.
I just like when you look at him on screen, you're just like, what is this dude? What's his story? And it's great.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people were disappointed that they did so much of his backstory, like too much, with the Book of Boba Fett, and we enjoyed it all. I mean, we love that they're making anything and continue the stories. And
hey man, I'll take Daddy Pants Boba any day. You give me Daddy Pants Boba, I'm in.
But I think so many people were like, oh, it's like destroyed the mystery because for however many years nobody knew anything, and it was just that mystery.
The disappointment was like I always tell the story when we talk about Boba Fett. I remember as a kid, like, oh, I'm watching, like, okay, I want to watch a Star Wars video, and I saw like this whole thing about Book of just Boba Fett getting out. There was a little concept I feel like I remembered how it was in the Book of Boba Fett. But
that was a fan film you watched, not like the actual book.
Yeah, I know. It was like some kind of fan film. It was like, oh, that's cool. I like that. But they should have took the whole he should have explored the anatomy of the Sarlacc. It's huge. It's like
it's big.
There's one little.
It should have took more than 2 minutes.
I know the video that where he's in there and he fights his way out, and you can see there's stormtroopers and stuff down.
Yes,
there.
and they're over it, and there's some girl looks over, and you see him go.
Yeah, I remember seeing that too. Yeah.
We just need a little bit more Boba Fett struggling.
I can probably show you the video.
Yeah, of course. What are you guys looking forward to in Star Wars? Anything that got your interest piqued?
I do. I have one.
All that matters is. Answer. The only correct answer is
possibly
Andor season 2.
Yes, that's the correct answer we're looking for.
Yeah.
It's gonna be so good.
I hope they do more I love how in the
we're gonna get K2.
Oh, if they make K2, that's gonna be
it's gonna be
Yeah,
well, it has to because they've said the last 3 episodes are the last 3 days before Rogue One, so K2's gotta be
sign me up. They already have me signed up, but I'm really excited.
I like how they did Nazi Nazis, they're all in uniform. They're all like the generals. They remind me of Nazis.
Well, that's the whole design. Yeah,
I know, but it's
really cool.
I love how they incorporate that. The generals are more in command instead of the stormtroopers.
And the ISB is cool too.
Yeah. And
we're like I say, we're happy that they're telling stories, and we'll watch whatever. But the writing on that and the production quality,
the writing on that is exactly what it is.
So spoilers, if for anybody who hasn't watched it,
we're
3 years ago,
right.
The funeral scene where they're out in the streets. And they're marching through, and then they watch the hollow net, or she's fight, and just that standoff in the street,
you get goosies. You're like, fight the Empire. I'm like, wait, I like Imperials, but let's fight them.
Just everything.
Yeah, it's great.
The one way out. Everything. Every episode, and then the whole time you're like, what are they building in there?
Yeah, it's great.
And the payoff of that, but that show, everything that they've done, we've enjoyed. But that one, everyone was, thrilled. Mando. Let's face it, Mando paid for all this to get done. So keep going. But that Andor storyline and the characters they introduced and the writing, it's just that's some high quality TV.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. All right, you want to do a little speed round here?
Sure.
All right. Sure. Now, speed round, not story time round, speed round, okay? All right, you start off first. Ask Alex.
Favorite movie.
What's your favorite movie, Alex?
Rogue One.
Rogue One. Okay. Kirk.
I will also say Rogue One.
Okay.
Favorite spaceship.
Favorite spaceship, TIE Defender.
Huh?
Which one?
TIE Defender.
I don't know if I know that. What
the TIE Defender?
The TIE Admiral Thrawn's prototype TIE Defender.
Oh, okay, got it.
Greatest starship ever made.
Yes, Kirk.
I'm torn between I have an affinity for the Millennium Falcon from being a kid, but I gotta tell you, I'd want to live on the Ghost. I think. So.
Ooh, that. Ghost is a good shot. You can't go wrong. You can't go wrong.
It doesn't break down number 5.
Right. Yeah.
Favorite weapon?
DLT-19X or the NT-242.
What's the NT? Who has that?
Battlefront 2. It's the best sniper in the game.
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay.
His goal is eventually to be his character in Battlefront.
I hope they make another Battlefront. The last one sucked, dude. It was the first, the original one I played. That was the best. But the newer one's what did they do with it? They lost me at that. It's
yeah.
Oh, with the story mode?
No. It was with. I liked the story mode. It's just.
You felt like the multiplayer was a little bit.
The multiplayer was fun, but it was the story was it was
Yeah, I know. We
They
thought
kinda-
we were gonna be in a bad guy, and then she turns good guy. Come on.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's a whole
Yeah,
nother-
yeah.
They should have just kept her in
That's a whole nother
Right.
thing.
Yeah,
Right.
I love playing that mode over, and I love I played a lot of Tomb Raider, so I love the.
We love a little Andor with Andor with the AT-ATs and all that. That was fun. Okay. Your favorite weapon, Kirk?
I like the feel of the SC-14 pistol, but I got to tell you, people have a great reaction to I put it over there, the E11. You can't go wrong. It's a good looking blaster, and when you put it into a kid's hand to let them hold, they go out of their minds. So
They were more avalanche with this one.
Yeah,
Just give them a pistol.
That's right. Okay.
Favorite character. Wait, yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah, fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll do the other one.
favorite character.
Sabine Wren,
Okay.
AP5,
AP5.
and SM33.
Wow.
It's me. All right.
It's me.
All right.
Wow. Skeleton Crew. All right.
He's
Kirk?
the best character in the show. But
Yeah.
Grand Moff Tarkin.
Wow. We're going old school. You may
Peter
file
Cushing.
when ready.
I love Peter Cushing. So
Yeah, he's great.
from
He's
Peter
great.
Cushing, Christopher Lee from the Hammer horror movies I grew up watching. I can't not say it.
Favorite creature.
Love
Some-
Cat. That's one. What do you expect me to say?
Rancor.
Yeah.
Wampa.
The Loft.
Okay, so is it
Wookiee.
I would say I was saying Loth Cat, and then I just saw like Filoni saying Loth Cat, and I was like,
Yeah. Right, it's Lothal. It's Italy.
is it
Italy,
Lothal or
yeah.
Lothal? That's
Yeah,
right.
it's Lothal. So I say, I don't know. It's the particularly the one that Ezra tries to connect with that goes crazy on him. That one is. Which one, is he the same one that goes after the scout, the droid? Yeah. Anyway, that it's cute and cuddly, but it will rip your eyes out.
right. All right, Kirk. How about you? What's your favorite creature?
No, he stole my answer. We hadn't even talked about it. Yeah,
You're both pro
Yeah.
Loth Cat. Yeah.
I think that if I had to pick another one, I will say the original thing that creeped me out from the first, from A New Hope, the Dianoga coming up out of
the trash compactor monster.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that guy's fun.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite things is that when you go back to, they have a water bottle fill that's Dianoga water, and you can't read Arabesh. It says danger. This is not drinkable by most species, and so it's
awesome.
a great little in joke. And
That's awesome.
So if Lothcat or Lothcat was stolen, I would go with.
Yeah, the people say, "Oh, it's like, oh, I want Wookiee." Technically, it's not.
No, when I say creature, we say non-sentient or part.
Yeah, and that
partially
fun
sentient.
fact about the Sarek, they actually keep the sentient and non-sentient apart.
Oh.
And they actually share, like, once they die or something, when they digest, they feed, like, they kind of, like, go with their memories, and they just, like, learn a bunch of stuff.
from the people that they eat.
Yeah.
It sounds right. It sounds.
I didn't know that. That's creepy.
Yeah. It's
There's
kinda
there's like a thing like of
a diagram, right?
like of like there's like a male that's like right attached to it. Just
Oh, that's right. The female's huge and the male's like, yeah. We'll have to pull that up. Yeah, I'll send that to you. It's
As
like,
they slowly digest you for 1,000 years,
they also
relearn
learn everything
and live all your memories. That's
Yeah, right.
and actually
It sounds
I
kind
think
of
they- I think
creepy.
They
But
kind of I think they just kind of like put them asleep. They're like, hey, like they don't wake up. They're just like they're like not.
yeah, it doesn't sound good. Like when Jabba describes it, it's not a good thing. You know.
Not too good.
Yeah,
And
it's-
people say Ewoks are cannibals.
They are not.
But why is that?
They're not cannibals because they're not eating Ewoks.
That's right.
They do eat humans.
Yes.
Because clearly they're about to roast Han Solo. and we've brought this up several times. Where did Princess Leia's dress come from?
Hey, man. They had that from the last princess they saw, or woman they saw.
That they probably ate. So because there was no C-3PO to tell them to stop.
right.
If they had no C-3PO, they're all dead.
Well, yeah, well, C-3PO, C-3PO was the god, so he was
you convinced them to stop because they were going to eat them all. So
yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so that was good speed round. Good speed round. All right, so light it all up. What is your favorite character? Tell us. Big T, Little T at Gmail. Big T, Little T podcast at gmail.com. I hate to say this, but again, we have to end this. We could go on for hours, but
for hours, right?
Yeah. We got school. We got school and work and all that boring stuff.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Well, Space Wizards, Plastic Spacemen, and Rebel Princesses, thanks again for listening to another episode of Big T and Little T, a Star Wars podcast. You can find us on socials, Big T, Little T podcast on Instagram, BLILT podcast on Twitter, Big T, Little T, we're on Blue Sky, and twitch.tv/Big T, Little T. We can catch us playing Fortnite or Madden or whatever else we're playing. Guys, where can people find you on the socials if you want to share?
Him.
He's got no presence.
That's okay. That's good.
I'm just Kirk Sullivan on Facebook. It looked like me. And
looks like me. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I look like. It's hard to miss. If there's any other Kirk Sullivans, they don't look like this.
Right.
But
all other Kirk Sullivans, they have hair.
Pretty much they do. I think on Instagram, I'm Captain Kirk 1701. I think.
Okay. It sounds like you're actively social. Yes.
I try to be. You got to keep up with some of the things that are going on, and
that's true.
With the group, sometimes it's the best way to find out what's happening. So.
Well, we appreciate you guys so much for coming on the show. It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you for having us.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
We got some stickers, so we want to hear from you. So comment, tweet, rate us on Apple Podcasts, give us a 5-star review on Spotify. Drop us at Big T Little T podcast at gmail.com, and we'll throw swag right at your face. We'll throw them right at your face. Next week or whatever, we'll probably be talking Star Wars. I know you mentioned one of them. We're gonna have Joe on the show here in a little bit, so that's gonna be fun. So we'll be interviewing here. I think that's it. So now remember.
Truly wonderful the mind of a child is.
And may the Force be with you always. Bye. Bye, 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 bye. Gosh. Thanks, lady. You're the best. All right. So it's recording. We're good. Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. Awesome.